AJB Live will begin momentarily. AJB Live will begin momentarily.
Mysterious developments in the Gabby Petito case. The FBI with their largest evidence release to date. And believe it or not, even after all this time, the never-before-seen documents giving us more questions than answers. We're live in the Stream Center with an interactive one-on-one interview with Gabby's mom, Nicole Schmidt, coming up, and a breakdown of the FBI evidence.
Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida. Top stories, breaking news, interactive coverage in the palm of your hand. This is Hey JB Live. Here's JB Biunno.
You know, FOIA requests are so strange because you just never know. Out of nowhere, the FBI could say, here you go, 100 pages here, 100 pages there, or 366 pages on a random Monday in June 2024. Hello there, folks. JB here with you live in the Stream Center. For those of you joining us live, welcome into the YouTube live comment section. We're going to be live on Facebook here soon. We're also live on heyjb.live where you can submit VIP comments. Also of note, if you want to read more about this story, if you're playing catch up, you can read the article right now. I wrote it actually last night. The title of the article related to the new evidence that has been released by the FBI. Loaded revolver, speedloader, and arrows found near Gabby Petito's remains by federal agents back in 2021. The article, of course, containing that new information, and we're going to break it down here live from the Stream Center. Also want to note that on Twitter just now, I tweeted a link to the FBI's release. If you want to follow along, we're going to go through the document. If you want to follow along at home and go through the pages with me and see it for yourself, you can. Just go over to my Twitter, at WFLA&JB. You'll see the link to the PDF from the FBI vault, and you'll be able to kind of scroll through it and see that evidence for yourself. For people that have been following this case for so long, you might want to actually have that PDF with you as you go through this evidence with me for the first time. There's a lot of images here, and also just a lot of information that we had no clue about. And what's interesting about this is that I'm talking with various people associated with the story last night, and a lot of this stuff is brand new. I mean, not even the inner circles of this story did people really know some of the details in these documents. This is brand new stuff that the FBI is releasing, and yes, this is a result of a FOIA request. FOIA standing for Freedom of Information Act. And reporters like myself and journalists across the country submit FOIA requests all the time, basically trying to gain access to documents that can be released to the public. But as I noted earlier, FOIA requests are so mysterious because you just never know when a FOIA request is going to be delivered upon. There are cases that have outstanding FOIAs going, 5-10 years. So you just never know when the FBI is going to say, all right, let's release this. We feel like now is the appropriate time to do so. There's clearly a system, a queue. I've never fully understood it, just being honest. And but it was yesterday when all of a sudden 366 brand new pages in the Gabby Petito case became released or was released to the public. And national media, of course, getting their hands in on it right away. I was reading through the document basically all night long, trying to comb through, circle, and highlight new details. And really a lot of the stuff that jumped off the page to me came in the back end of the document. And let's start there with the headline on this live stream, the banner on the bottom of your screen. We're talking, of course, about what was found near Gabby Petito's remains at Grand Teton National Park back in the area where her remains were found back in September of 2021. Now, near her remains was a loaded revolver speedloader. And I want to show that here first before we actually get to the document. I want to show that image because they have a picture of it in the FBI release. The imagery in this document is laughably bad in some respects because they're high quality photos, but they've been clearly scanned into a PDF and then uploaded, and just all the hoops that they went through to get it from the actual origin photo to a public release. It's just the quality has decreased so much that this is basically what we are looking at. But it certainly was interesting that we are finding out about this for the first time 3+ years or so, no, around 3 years later, that a loaded, or I'll read it here, revolver speedloader with ammunition located near the human remains believed to be Petito. And so that was, of course, something that jumped off the page. Brian Laundrie having in his possession or owning a total of 3 firearms, including a revolver that according to, of course, investigators, he took from his home when he left the home in September of 2021 and went into the Carlton Reserve, where he would ultimately take his own life with that revolver, a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. There was also a lot of ammunition, but very interesting that a revolver speedloader with ammo in it was found near Gabby's remains. And then arrows as well. And another thing that we're going to see in the document is pictures of what appears to be a crossbow that was collected by the FBI over the course of one of their many search warrants in this case. And so the arrows that were found near the remains, the final resting place of Gabby Petito, just is something we didn't know before, and is puzzling. And I've spent a lot of hours thinking about exactly all the different scenarios, and we will get into this with our live audience here in a little bit. Want to also point out that I'm going to be joined by Nicole Schmidt, Gabby's mom, who's actually in New York, helping for, of course, a fundraiser there in New York at present. And she will be joining me at 2 o'clock Eastern. It was originally going to be 1:30, and they just texted me a little bit before the stream began saying, JB, it's probably going to be closer to 2 o'clock. So that gives us a good opportunity here as we wait for Nicole to come into the Zoom room and join us on stream, a good opportunity for us to kind of break down the evidence. There's no way we're going to be able to go through all 366 pages together on this live stream. We'll be live until about 3 o'clock. It's just not possible. This is actually page 1 of the document, and we're going to try to hit some of the highlights. But again, I tweeted out a link to the PDF if you would like to read it for yourself and come to your own conclusions. There's also a mystery regarding the mattress that was in the camper that went on the cross-country road trip. Some curious details there, as well as a love letter that Gabby wrote to Brian that has been, of course, really the massive headline that people are finding most often on social media right now is this love letter that Gabby wrote to Brian. There's just a lot to unpack here, and we're going to do our very best to do so over the next 15 minutes before Nicole joins the live stream. And I'm actually seeing here that Nicole might actually not be alone as far as joining the Zoom. So we'll see who else pops in from Gabby's family. All right, so we're going to start going through this document. And you can clearly see the header here that the FBI is at the top of your screen. And you know what? Can we make this a little larger? I think we can. Can we make it a little bigger? Let's see if we can. A little easier to read. Let's see if I click on stand by. I think that's pretty good. All right, let's start to comb through this document, and we'll try to hit some of the highlights. And for some reason, my mouse is liking to jump through this a little bit too fast. But what you're going to come across in the first section of the PDF is, I'm going to try to do my best to summarize this as best as possible. Some of the formative documents here are from the beginning of the missing persons case that was opened when Gabby was originally reported missing, the FBI getting involved. You can see here on this particular screen, Suffolk County Police Department, Detective Redacted, contacting the Federal Bureau of Investigation, New York Operations Center to provide associated information regarding Guardian Redacted. And these are some of the earliest documents from when the FBI got involved with the Gabby Petito case. Now, the FBI getting involved pretty early on, to no surprise, because we're talking about a missing persons case that isn't just growing in exposure, but also covering a lot of different jurisdictions. This is a story that spans a couple dozen states when you look at all of the different stops that Gabby and Brian made on their cross-country road trip in the summer of 2021. I mean, we're talking about originally leaving from Florida, driving up to New York, and then starting from New York and going all the way out west, winding up towards Yellowstone in Wyoming. And then Brian, of course, completing the triangle, coming back southeast and arriving back home in Northport, Florida, without his fiancée, Gabby Petito, who, of course, was then promptly reported missing by Gabby's family. So what you're going to see in a lot of these documents, and it's, again, we could probably do a 6-hour live stream and not be able to make it through all of it, is the FBI piecing together the timeline and the geography of all of this. I mean, literally receiving tips and then those tips being put together to establish an idea as to where Gabby and Brian were, when they got separated, and how it led to Brian returning home in the van, in Gabby's van, without his fiance. You're also going to see a lot of white boxes. See this here? As we're on page 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All these white boxes are redactions. FBI blocking out, and this is commonplace with FOIA results, blocking out details that are still not cleared for public consumption, not cleared, and probably will never be cleared for the public. Just paragraphs of information. I mean, sometimes certain names, you'll see phone numbers, credit card information, all of these different things that are considered to be more sensitive information that will be redacted in a federal document like this. But so here's an example of what we're looking at with some of the pages here early on. And a lot of this is pertaining to where Gabby and Brian were in August into September, or where Brian was into September. And quite literally, you can almost envision at FBI Tampa or FBI Denver a massive board where they were quite literally putting together all the stops along the way on the cross-country trip and how it led back to Northport, Florida. So you'll see here, here's a perfect example. From Idaho Falls, Idaho, if you want all of the video from each of the 3 Walmart stores, you're going to have to send somebody to the stores, it being held there for you. Here's just some of the email exchanges that are taking place as they are trying to collect video evidence of the camper van that was used by Gabby and Brian, Gabby's van, and the stops that it made along the way, and collecting evidence to prove that it was, in fact, at these various locations. You're also going to see, let's see here as we scroll through. So here's a federal email, or an FBI email. All attached to the summary of the work we've been doing the past few days with regard to the video canvas across the country for Laundrie's trip from Wyoming to Florida. If you have any questions, please let me know. We're coordinating with local jurisdictions and field offices across the country to get copies of the video surveillance and make them accessible for us to view. We will keep you updated if there's any changes, on and on. We are currently on page 39 for those of you following at home, by the way. So again, we're going to breeze through this section because a lot of this is now pertaining to transactions. Here we have on September 17, 2021, Special Agent Redacted again conducted an interview at the Casey's General Store located at 1003 West Main Street in Benton, Illinois. Agents able to confirm the correct time and location of the gas purchase after the case agent spoke with Casey's corporate. The receipt for the transaction was $28, and I think that's either 38 or 30 cents. and indicated that the transaction was for gasoline at pump number 3. This is Brian in the camper, and you're going to see some images here in a moment. Brian in Gabby's van, just filling up gas on the way home to Northport, Florida. So let's kind of move ahead, because a lot of this stuff is going to get repetitive with piecing together Brian's whereabouts. Here's a snapshot. This is not a video. You can't really click on it, but this is a snapshot from one of the videos showing the van itself. Scrolling forward here, there's also going to be a lot of interviews with people that had taken pictures along the way, and people that had, come across Gabby or Brian, or claimed to come across Gabby and Brian on their trip. And a lot of these interviews with people, I just want to make sure I'm bringing up the chat here. I want to pay attention to the chat here as I'm talking. A lot of multitasking, but I'm going to do my very best to pay attention to your comments as they come in, and also go through this. But a lot of people that were interviewed by the FBI and by local police said that they knew that they had come across Gabby and Brian. They remember the Let It Be tattoo. The Let It Be tattoo is referenced at least half a dozen times in this document as being an identifying characteristic for Gabby. The Let It Be tattoo would later become really a call to action for Gabby's family. They all got Let It Be tattoos, and they used that, of course, as a rallying cry for justice, if you will. So I see Spacey in the comment section. Did they stop in Utah? Yes. Moab is one of the infamous stops on the trip. A lawsuit is still pending in Moab. And so don't want to get too much into that, but let's continue going through the document here. So here's an example of some of the snapshots now. This is the FBI doing their due diligence, collecting as much evidence as possible. It's kind of hard to see here. I want to scroll up just a smidge. Will you let me kind of move up just a little bit? Okay, here's a better shot. So top left-hand portion of your screen, there's Gabby's van. And this is one of the snapshots of Brian's trip home to Northport, Florida. And again, the FBI putting together his exact journey, stop by stop, and even going as far to collect video evidence to show that Brian was, in fact, in this spot on the trip home. None of this is particularly groundbreaking. We all knew that Brian had made it home. He came home from Wyoming. He made it home to Northport, Florida. He did it without Gabby. Gabby is never seen in any of these, obviously, because Gabby has, at this point, been killed by Brian, and is out in the wilderness in Grand Teton National Park. Scrolling through this here, some of the inside, outside images, some of the corresponding documents that go with these video snapshots, search warrant details, and we'll keep scrolling along here. Okay, now we're getting to evidence, pictures that the FBI snapped of evidence that was collected over the course of the execution of several search warrants. There was, of course, the search warrant that was executed on the vehicle itself when Gabby's van was taken away and brought to the Northport Police Department for a thorough examination, a thorough search. There was also a search warrant that was executed at the Laundry home, I believe the second or third week of September, when FBI agents went into the home and collected belongings. And we're going to get into some of those belongings, because some of those belongings certainly jump off the page. But here's a picture of a lot of rings. This is a picture that's going to come up quite a bit. This is a box holding ammunition and what appears to be brass knuckles. Here is a Nikon camera. Here is the DJI drone that Brian and Gabby used on their trip. Again, more images of the ammunition in that box. Let's see here. Arrows that we would later find out in the document, arrows that were found near Gabby's remains in Wyoming. A No Country for Old Men book. Trying to find, because there's one image here also too that I didn't know about. I think I just skipped it. This document is difficult to scroll through. Stand by. Here's some of Gabby's belongings: a hairbrush, some books, Okay, hold on. Can I scroll through this? There's a receipt. There it is. Okay, check this out. I was unfamiliar. Wait, see? It's jumping all over the place. Everybody, apologies. Technology is not my friend today, apparently. That's a little simpler. Apologies for all the flashing images. Doing a lot here at once. Okay, here's what appears to be a crossbow with a scope on it. And that, of course, ties into the arrows that were found as well. Let's see here, folks. I want to take a moment because the time is now 1:55, and I believe that I am not alone here in the Stream Center, at least virtually. Let's see if I can bring in. Yes, I absolutely can. With hopefully good signal if we're lucky enough. Nicole, Tara, do you have me?
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, you guys.
Can you hear us okay?
I think I can hear you okay. Guys, in the chat, can I get a thumbs up here if you guys can hear Nicole and Tara joining us here? Guys, I'm just going to record on your interview, make sure that we have it.
Trying to set up, sorry. There we go. Okay.
All right, let's bring in everybody.
Is that better? Yeah, I think sunglasses look crazy.
There's Nicole and Tara. Guys, how are you?
We are doing okay. It's beautiful up here in New York right now.
Yep. We're actually at the golf course right now where we're hosting our event on Friday. We're up at the clubhouse, so it is actually beautiful.
Why don't we just start right there before we get into what we were just combing through with the document? Why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about the fundraiser, what you guys have going on Long Island in New York today, and its purpose.
So we're hosting our first annual golf outing, which will be on Friday between 1 and 5 is golf, and then there's a golf outing afterwards. A reception for dinner afterwards. We have a lot of great prizes. Unfortunately, right now it is sold out, but we do have one amazing raffle that we are doing online. It's 2 gold VIP passes to PrimeCon 2025. And then along with that, you get the 2 hotel rooms at the Gaylord Rockies. We're selling those for $25 a piece. So if you can't obviously make it to the golf event, you can still join and help us out by purchasing a raffle ticket.
100% of the proceeds go to us. They were donated by CrimeCon. So if you buy 1 ticket or 10 tickets, it's all going to us.
Yep.
For those of you
CrimeCon actually did a sponsorship here for us as well. So they will have some representatives here too. So that's
very generous.
Awesome. Very generous.
That's phenomenal. And this is all being done by the Gabby Petito Foundation, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Nicole, for those of you just joining us, and we're now live on Facebook as well, now live across all platforms, JB here with you in the Stream Center alongside Gabby Petito's mother, stepmother, Tara Petito, Nicole Schmidt joining us here. And guys, we were just all together a couple of weeks ago. And Nicole, I was in the room when you read the victim impact statement. Tara, I remember yours as well with the burn after reading shirts that you guys were wearing. I remember how much obviously it meant for you both to be able to read your victim impact statements when, of course, you consider that Brian Laundrie never made it to court. You guys never really had the opportunity for the legal system to get justice for Gabby. Nicole, you were more at ease to me in compared to any other interaction that I've had with you over the last several years. You offered a forgiveness to Brian. You had some cold words for Roberta, but I got this sense that there was closure there, or more closure that you have had in a long time. And then here we are. It's not even a couple of weeks later, and on a Monday in June, here we are. The FBI releases 360 plus pages of new information. And a lot of this, as I've been talking with you guys back and forth over the last 24 hours, a lot of this is stuff that you've never seen before. So I know that you wanted to chat today. What was something that Was there anything about the document that kind of caught you off guard, something that you were really surprised by?
I was surprised that it was released at all. It was like shocking to us. We started kind of skimming through it. We really didn't get to read it in detail, but I have people sending me information, and there was a few things in there that we obviously some objects and stuff that we have that belong to Gabby that we knew about. But some of the reports, the sightings and such, the letter that one of the letters that Gabby had written was very shocking. It just showed us more that she just was trying so hard to earn love from somebody that was not being very caring to her.
It showed that he was manipulating her, gaslighting her. There was definitely abuse before.
Did you know that letter existed? Did you know that Gabby was writing these types of letters to Brian? And also, too, something that is noted throughout the document is the validity of the dates and when exactly some of these letters were written back and forth. What did you find so shocking, Nikki, about the actual letter itself?
Just I feel her pain in there, and it hurts me to know that she was being manipulated in a way to think that she wasn't good enough for someone, and that she had to apologize.
Oh, okay. So that's what happens when Zoom, you lose connection with somebody. So we'll come back out here in the stream center. So they are at the golf course for the fundraiser today, and clearly their call dropped out. So we'll wait for them to drop back into the Zoom room. And there it probably is right there. Guys, you back?
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You guys are
Somebody tried to call me, and I hit end, but for some reason it hung up the Zoom.
Gotcha. I'll let you, Nikki. I'll let you pick back up where we left off.
Yeah, I think I was just talking about how seeing those letters showed the manipulation she was under, and it was just she was in so much pain, and she felt so defeated. I think like she was never going to be good enough.
I think this is really one of the reasons why we fight so hard, to make sure people know that they're not alone and that there are resources out there. It just makes us want to work harder for her, because I guess she felt so alone and wasn't able to come to us about any of this. I don't think she reached out to anybody about any of this. So it just makes us want to work harder.
Tara, were you able, and Nicole, you as well, I mean, were you guys able to read the letter? I mean, is that a difficult thing for you guys to do, given where you are now in your lives and what you're trying to pursue with the foundation?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do good. We're trying to move forward and help people, and it just seems like things keep coming at us unexpectedly. It's difficult to get through that. It's like a gut punch every time something new comes out.
Yeah, it's re-triggering. Every time something comes out, we get re-triggered, and it's just more pain that we have to work through, and keep fighting. But it does make us want to work harder. It does make us want to fight harder.
I know that you, through our conversations, you over the course of Gabby's disappearance and then the subsequent investigation into her murder, you were very close-knit with the FBI. The FBI, you guys were almost on speed dial, as I understand it, being able to access, federal investigators, special agents that were working on this case. As I'm reading through this document last night, I find that one of the special agents who wrote up a report on the discovery of Gabby's remains in Wyoming found that there was a loaded revolver speedloader found near her remains, in addition to 2 arrows. And if I'm correct, this is information that you two, and Joe and Jim also, you guys had no idea about this. What do you make of the fact that the speedloader and the arrows were found near her remains?
I mean, had no idea.
Actually, I'm just finding about this right now. I didn't know that. I wasn't able to open up the report. I kind of skimmed through it on Nikki's computer, but I don't remember seeing that part. So
somebody sent that to me. I think maybe Mike Ruiz. Somebody sent that to me, that information. We're just been busy trying to plan this fundraiser, but yeah, I had no idea, and I actually wanted to confirm that because I was like, is that really true? That really happened? But it's in the report, so it just blows my mind.
We don't understand why we didn't have access to that report first, to read through it before it made headlines.
Yeah, we did our FOIA requests way back, so I don't know. We didn't get any information.
You guys had a FOIA request. I had a FOIA request. A lot of people had FOIA requests. I know your attorney, Pat, here in Florida, he was waiting patiently on FOIA results as well, just trying to understand. Look, there was a gargantuan amount of money that went into the investigation to both find Gabby and then bring justice for Gabby as well and locate Brian. And of course, Brian was found, his remains were found in October. Another part of the document, I just want to get through some of the highlights of the document before we, look ahead and focus on your efforts today in New York. But it's interesting to me that the FBI never found the mattress based on this report that we have. And I want to explain for people, Gabby and Brian left New York, of course. They go on their cross-country road trip, and they are living in this camper. They have as we understand it, there was a mattress, correct you guys, in the camper, but the FBI never actually found the mattress. At some point, the mattress was disposed of, and according to this document, it doesn't appear that it was ever recovered. What did you make of that nugget?
That was information that we did know, and it was just never recovered. Nobody knows where the mattress is. So.
As far as there being, I want to just make sure I get through my notes. There was another portion of the report where somebody who gave a tip to the FBI said that at one point Gabby and Brian were on the trip and it's okay.
Do you hear Joe Petito?
Oh, Joe Petito's coming.
I know that voice. Joe Petito making a cameo appearance.
We're talking about some serious stuff, and he just comes barreling in.
Oh, sorry. What are you talking about serious? I'm gonna go. Play.
He's actually going to play golf.
I'm gonna go play golf. Love you.
Love you too.
It's
Love these live streams.
Yeah, he got to play golf this morning, and now he's playing golf again. So
I am.
Yeah.
This is why live streaming is better than TV, folks. You just never know what is going to happen on a live stream. So and I'm curious too. I don't know if Joe's hanging out around because Joe and I were texting a little bit last night. There's a point in the documents where there's so many tips. There were so many people, Nikki and Tara, that came forward with information to the FBI and said, I saw Gabby and Brian here, or I interacted with them there, and a lot of tips that came into the FBI where they recognized Gabby because of the Let It Be tattoo on her arm, that was a major identifying characteristic. And at one point, somebody put in a tip that said that Gabby and Brian were traveling with what appeared to be two other men. I don't know if that rang a bell as far as if you knew if Gabby and Brian had made friends along the way, as they headed out west.
I don't think so. I think a lot of that was unconfirmed sightings. There's, believe it or not, a lot of couples that look very similar to Brian and Gabby. A lot of people have small transit vans that travel. So a lot of coincidences, or sometimes it's people that just want to join in and say they saw them so they could be part of it in some way. But I think it's just people that maybe mistakenly thought it was them. Yeah. Some of them could be true. I don't think they were traveling with anybody at any point. That's as far as I know. But
I don't believe they were traveling with anybody. Again, I agree with Nikki. I think some of them, they just thought they might have saw them. They saw them. They just wanted to join in, give any help that they could. And I don't really believe that she was with anybody. They were with anybody else.
So as far as now the FBI document. It's somebody just pointed out in the chat. I'm keeping my eyes on the chat. You guys, I know a lot of people very excited to see you both, Nikki and Tara, by the way, and clearly on a beautiful day on Long Island in New York, on a very special day for the Gabby Petito Foundation. But a lot of people noting that that the document is titled 01, and that could be something or nothing. Is there the expectation that maybe the FBI releases even more evidence in this case? Because I mean, there's very little that's going to change the outcome of where we are with this story, right? I mean, even though we might get some more information, the FBI has been in possession of this material for several years. People who scream for justice for Gabby and point to Chris and Roberta Laundrie. But I mean, the idea that more documents that could come out, that Gabby's name could be in the news even more in the months and years ahead, where are you at with the fact that the investigation is over and the fact that yet still more stuff continues to surface?
It's
weird. But it's not surprising. I mean, at this point, I mean, anything can happen. We could definitely get more information. We might not. We really don't know. We don't know what the FBI has, and we don't know what they will share. So.
Right.
We have a question coming in from the chat, you guys. If you guys would like to take a question, I'm not going to throw any curveballs your way. If you'd like, of course. Is that okay by you, Tara, Nicole?
Sure.
Okay. Natalie sends in this one to the website, heyjb.live. Nicole and Tara, I am so sorry that all of this continues to trigger you. I know that nothing in the world can make the situation better for you, but what does any type of closure look like for you guys? Will there ever be closure? Does the FBI releasing this info make that want for closure better or worse?
So we really don't like that word, closure. There really is never going to be closure. We got Gabby home. We can start the grieving process. Yes, there's still open wounds. I think the open wound will always be there. The scars are always going to be there. We can get triggered at any point in time just by hearing a song, by seeing a sign from her, and there's no closure. This is something that we grieve every day. We'll continue to grieve every day until we meet again, I guess.
Yeah, we'll never have closure. But we will move forward. I think that we will continue to fight for law changes and things that will help other people and prevent this from happening, because if we don't do that, we feel like we missed our opportunity to help, because Gabby's voice is huge and we speak for her. So.
We always say she gave us like this huge platform and we have to use it. So we're fighting for her. We're fighting in her name. And we will continue to do so. Her signs that she sends us makes us just want to fight harder.
This is going to be the least surprising part of the live stream for the two of you, but I have to point out that this morning I did reach out to the attorney for Chris Laundrie, Roberta Laundrie, and that being attorney Stephen Bertolino, to just ask a couple of questions and also, of course, I think submit. I've lost count of how many interview requests I've put in for Chris and Roberta Laundrie, just again being as fair as possible, giving them the opportunity to tell their version of events, even though the depositions in the civil lawsuit provided so much insight as to their side of the story. Bertolino says that Chris and Roberta still to this day have no interest in speaking. At least I don't know if any other media outlets put in a request. The request by us for an interview was denied. Where are you, Nikki and Tara, with now that the civil lawsuit was settled out of court? I mean, have you guys moved past Laundrie, the Laundrie family? Is that something that is no longer present of mind to you?
Yeah, I think, sorry, my daughter keeps trying to call me. Can you tell them
to hold on a second.
I think that it was an opportunity for us to kind of cut ties with that stress that was on our backs. Of course, we were disappointed. We wanted to do one thing. We had one goal, to get them into the courtroom. But in the depositions, we got our answers, and we were advised by our attorney to just, we're going to end it. We're going to end it here. I look at it as that. I don't look at it as settling. I don't like the word settling because I feel like it makes you feel like you just gave up.
There are reasons why we had to settle. And I guess that's between us and our attorney.
Yeah.
We didn't want to, but I feel like since we have settled, the anger towards them kind of has diminished a little bit.
Well, we don't have to deal with
we don't have to deal with them on almost a daily basis, or there's no more shocking emails that we'll get of something that we're dealing with them.
It's more like it's over. It's almost like it's over with them.
They're forgotten. We're just gonna forget about them because,
like I said in my impact statement, I can't forgive her, but I won't let her take space in my head. So I will just move on and continue to help people. Yeah. That's how I will grieve and move forward. Yeah.
So let's look ahead. Because I know that the work that you are doing has been inspiring to so many people that I've had conversations with, most notably recently at CrimeCon. You take the stage in a large hall in front of a lot of people who were there to hear from the four of you, and by the four of you, of course, I mean Nicole, Tara, Jim, and Joe, and you're there at a panel talking about missing Indigenous people in this country and how the missing Indigenous do not get nearly a shred of the amount of media attention that others get in sort of the mainstream media, if you will. That is just one of the many things that the four of you have been doing and the Gabby Petito Foundation have been focusing on, really, especially now things appear to have ramped up with things being over with the civil trial, with the laundries. What is the engine that's driving you? It's clearly Gabby's memory and wanting to do good with the platform that you have, but where are you so focused and what do you want to achieve?
Oh my gosh.
We got so much help when we were trying to search for Gabby. We're just trying to pay that back and pay that forward. Yes, the Indigenous, the Indian country, they have a lot of it's a hard area. It's a hard place to even start.
It's the jurisdictional issues that they have an issue with, where things are unsolved and cases are not even
they're not even taken seriously. I guess Joey saw an interview a couple months back about with this woman, Darlene Gomez, and asked, I guess the person that was doing the interview asked Darlene how did Gabby Petito's story help or hurt the Indigenous women and relatives? And she said she helped. So Joey, of course, bright idea. I'm reaching out to her. I'm getting in contact with her. So that's what he did. And he got her to CrimeCon and got her on stage. Because people, it's more about the awareness, bringing attention to everybody, not just blonde hair, blue eye, beautiful girls. It's just making sure everybody gets the same amount of attention.
And I love what Darlene said, and you probably heard this, JB, at the session, but she said nobody else reached out to her. Yeah. All of the tribal leaders,
573 tribal leaders, and the white man contacted her.
And he called her and said, how can we help? What can we do for you? And she was just so taken aback by that we would do that. But that's who we are, and that's what we want to do, because we know that collaborating and working together will help save lives.
It's amazing that Joe is given this credit, but then whenever he's asked, Joe, wow, this is extraordinary, he always looks at you, Tara. Tara, I always feel like he's, all right, what do I say now? He's like, I need to insert a soundbite here, and he's relying on you, Tara, to say something clever.
That's just Joe. That's just his personality. It is all four of us. We all do work together as a team. He's just better at making those phone calls. He's not he's a salesman. He speaks
out, and he's not afraid to, and he'll call whoever. And
So normally I tell him, I'm like, oh, you should call this person, you should do this, you should do that. So yeah, I'm behind him 100%, but it's all a team effort.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to take any credit for it, and neither do we. It doesn't matter who does what, as long as we do it together and it gets done and lives are saved. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And Darlene Gomez, she's an amazing individual. She actually was at 2.3 or $2.4 million in pro bono work for the indigenous relatives. And she only started calculating that since 2019. But she's been doing this work for 20 years.
Yeah, I was humbled to be in the room as I heard from Darlene. The panel was fascinating, and I think that we can all, including on this side, you guys, in the media, we can all learn. And with Indigenous people, it's so often being on federal lands. There's so many complications there, but there has to be a breakthrough solution, hopefully in the future, to increase awareness for missing Indigenous people. Because some of the things that we learned in that panel were just heartbreaking. What are some of the other initiatives? What is the Gabby Petito Foundation? We'll get into the golf outing here in just a second. But what are some of the other things that you're looking to get accomplished with the platform that you now have as you guys look ahead?
Well, we are working on a training program for first responders. I was a first responder. My husband is and has been for 20-something years. And there's no domestic violence training. There's very little. It's a paragraph in a book, really, for the most part. And some areas are doing a little more, but we want a cohesive program across the nation. People are getting killed on domestic violence calls, firefighters, paramedics, police officers. And if we can get the 911 operators and everybody in between, all the way to the courts, the nurses in the hospital, I mean, just everybody trained and on the same page, where documentation is so important for court cases, then we could help these victims. And then we got the education program.
So we're also working on a prevention program within the elementary, middle school, and high schoolers. So that we're pretty much at the starting process of that. Mickey and I have been trying to research as much as possible to get that part going. So hopefully, again, we're at the beginning stages. We also worked on getting the lethality assessment protocol. We got it here down. Well, I'm not here in Florida now, but down in
We're
Florida.
working on New York, though.
We're working on New York. Unfortunately, I don't think it passed. It was yesterday. It was supposed to pass. It did not pass. So that's going to be our next project also. And then hopefully once we can get New York passed, we're going to work on other states as well.
I have a question coming in from one of our WFLA colleagues here, Allison Henning, who's going to be working on this report for our broadcast tonight on WFLA News Channel 8, your NBC station here in Tampa Bay, Florida. And this question comes from Allison. Almost 3 years later, for so many people to be following Gabby's story so closely, what does it mean to you guys?
Well, we wouldn't be where we are now without all the love and support from everyone. And that's because of Gabby. Obviously, her spirit is so powerful. You know, just seeing her smile and hearing her speak, she connects with so many people. And I hope that we can use her voice and, speak for her and just keep doing these good things, because that's what she would have wanted. She wanted the world to be a better place. That's why she said, be a nicer person, because there were so many people that aren't nice. And, if we could just be nice to each other, maybe the world would change a little more. Yeah.
I will share with you. You can't see it on your end, but I see the chat. Okay. And the chat here is just lighting up with support for you guys. I don't even think that the subject matter of the live stream is really the focal point anymore. It's just an insane amount of love, and anybody who wants to throw emojis in the chat just to signal their love here, it's overwhelming when I see comments that are just coming in that are just all just raining positivity. So I want to turn now to the event that you guys have going on behind you, unless that's one of those Zoom backgrounds that you guys have like superimposed behind you. No, is that a real background? Because that doesn't look real. The clouds aren't moving, you guys. Are you sure that you guys are at a golf course right now?
Weird umbrella behind me, but yeah, no, It's really
It's
beautiful.
real, promise.
All right. I think you guys passed the Zoom test as far as actually being at
It's
work
real.
today, so to speak, or being at work, being at the golf course. There are people in the comment section right now just raining butterflies in the comment section, heart
I love
emojis, people that want to support the Gabby Petito Foundation. Is there any way for them to support the event today as you guys hit the links, as you guys play golf there on Long Island?
So if you want to help us out, go buy one of the raffle tickets.
Or just donate.
Or just donate.
If
I
you
mean,
can't
if you
Yeah.
can't make it out to CrimeCon, that's fine. Just donate. Every little bit counts. Every little bit helps to help our mission and fight the causes.
Yeah. And honestly, if you can't donate, we understand.
Oh yeah.
Share the missing persons flyers, continue to share domestic violence awareness posts. Just keep the conversation going around the issues that we have in this world, not just this country, but this world. And that's very helpful. It really is.
And
if a friend comes to you and they're in a bad situation, don't judge them. Let them come to you, hold their hand, say that you're not alone. I'm here with you. I will help guide you. Know that there are resources out there to help.
And the event today,
Yes.
people that are coming to support you guys, what is that going to look like? I know that you've had the event down in Florida. I know that you were just in CrimeCon at CrimeCon in Nashville. Now you're on Long Island. You guys are hitting different parts of the map and doing different things. So what is it going to look like today?
Well, today we're just it's preliminary. We're just looking at the space. We're having the event on Friday. So Duty Ron from YouTube will be live streaming for us. He's going to be here walking around doing a live fundraiser event for us as well. So, if you can't attend, you can attend virtually, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're just kind of planning it out right now. We're going to have tons of baskets, and the online raffle, like we said, again, is just an amazing prize worth almost $2,000. You want to go to CrimeCon Denver, $25. You get a chance, and if you win that, it's just,
and it all goes to us.
Yeah,
it all goes to us. So that's the best part. But I mean, it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a lot of fun. We don't want it to be serious. We just want everybody to come. We'll have a DJ. We just want everybody to just relax, dance, have buy some raffle tickets.
In the spirit of Gabby, we're going to have a great time.
I think Duty Ron's in the chat right now, so yeah, he is. He's saying
Ron.
hello, and
Hey,
I know Ron well enough to know that he's looking forward to partnering with you guys. The streaming community is the best. Duty Ron is as good as it gets, and that's really special. That oh, I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna get you guys out on this. I'm gonna put you on the spot. And just because you guys are about to hit, the golf course, I know that, look, sports betting has become a big thing in this country. I don't really bet on sports, but I want to know if I had $20 on Joe or Jim to win on Friday, who is taking it? Now I'm putting you guys on the spot. Who is going to actually have the lower score between the two gentlemen?
I don't know.
Does the lower score mean you win? Joe. I think Joe would win because Jim.
Joe goes golfing
more often,
once a week.
Yeah, I would say bet on Joe.
We just had a lesson, so maybe Joe, and that's why he went this morning and this afternoon. He's trying to get as much practice in.
Yeah, and Jim would agree with that. I don't think he would be insulted by that at all. I would bet on Joe.
Joe would bet on Jim. Joe would definitely bet on Jim.
I think I'm gonna give me the underdog. I'm taking Jim in an upset. Jim in an upset. Guys, okay. I really appreciate your time. Is there anything else? This is your opportunity. Anything you want to share? You've got a pretty large audience joining us here in the chat, and just a lot of folks. As we were just talking about the Let It Be tattoos, as we see that come up on screen there, Nikki. Anything else you guys want to share before we let you go?
Just know you're not alone. If you're experiencing any mental health issues, you can dial 988 and talk to someone. Domestic violence, go to hotline.org or domesticshelters.org. There's so much information on there. I know people don't like to make phone calls all the time, so I always put that out rather than the phone number. You guys can put the phone number up on your live stream if you want. And share missing persons posters. I mean, there's a lot you can do out there to help. And then those are some things that, and for yourself, just self-care. We're always pushing self-care. And you can check us out at GabbyPetitoFoundation.org. The website is getting redone, so bear with us. It's just kind of simple right now, but we do have a lot of information on there.
And I always say, take the trip, go on the adventure. We try to do as much as possible to still live life and try to be happy. Gabby had younger siblings, and we have to teach them that they still have a long life and they're allowed to be happy.
Guys, we really appreciate your time and joining us, and all the best with the work that you continue to do, spreading awareness and even getting laws changed around this country. You guys clearly are resolute, and it's an honor, of course, to have you on the live stream today. We appreciate your time, and good luck with the event this weekend.
Thank you.
Just quickly, if you want a Burn After Reading t-shirt, go to our website.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
So and that goes to is that going to the foundation, if I understand that correctly?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nicole?
It's on our store.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of merchandise. We have the
Yeah.
Burn After Reading. We have the Together We Can.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of different items. But that all goes to the foundation. And Nikki and I designed most. All of them.
We do it.
I know I saw them on stage when you guys spoke at CrimeCon. Guys, I wish you all the very best, and my best to those that I know at the event, and I'm sure that we'll be chatting soon.
Yeah. Thanks, JB. Thanks, everybody.
You. Thanks, guys.
Nicole and Tara joining us here in the Stream Center, and that's obviously a great event for people that want to get involved with an organization that is committed to doing some incredible good. GabbyPetitoFoundation.org is the destination. The live stream is not over. We still have another half an hour to go, and let me explain why we're only going for once again, when the Zoom room is empty, it's just way too many JBs. That's not a world we want to get you stuck in. Explain really quickly why we're only going to be able to go till about 3:00 Eastern. It's this right now going on. This is live from Tampa. We have a lot of rain moving in, and also too, in our early edition of Tracking the Tropics, we were talking about a lot of moisture moving in, and our weather team is going to be streaming live here in the next half hour or so. But before we get to weather coverage on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, let's continue going through this document as promised. Kind of an odd transition now, talking about, of course, the foundation, seeing a smiling Tara, smiling Nicole. But we, of course, are now going to transition back to the actual document itself. And we're going to do it on this screen here by bringing back up the document. Let me point out one more time, as we do a live interview with Nicole and Tara there, that's Gabby's mom and stepmom, we have made repeated requests to the laundries for that side of the story, and I keep the receipts. Every single solitary time that we've reached out to Chris and Roberta's representation, the interview request is denied. They, of course, have an opportunity in the fairness of what we do on live stream. We were always trying to get both sides of the spectrum, both sides of the picture, and to this point, even now, years later, they have not done a single interview. The only clarity that we have on their position from what happened with the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie story is through the depositions that we went through extensively when the civil lawsuit was still in play. They of course, reached an out-of-court settlement, and that's no longer going to be a case that goes to a civil trial. But the odds are very remote, extremely remote, as remote that it gets, that we ever hear from Chris and Roberta Laundrie, Brian Laundrie's parents. Let's get back now to the document, because the FBI evidence, the FOIA results that came through, unearthed some curious evidence, including here's a crossbow that was taken into evidence by the FBI. Here's some of the writings of Brian Laundrie, and it can be difficult. This is one of the better snapshots to be able to actually read, legible handwriting. There's so many documents that you're going to see here in a moment that the scan just didn't hit the PDF right, and you can barely make out what is being scribbled on a piece of paper. But I'm trying to read here. I'm going to try to just zoom in here a little bit and see if we can make out some of it. But these are the words of Brian Laundrie. I can't really move around all that much, which is really unfortunate. Or actually, it's interesting that it's letting me scan text. See, and it's going to be really bad stream content if I am trying to word for word go through all of this. But again, this is a page in the document. Let me go back to the document itself. And moral compass, or merely the numbers. It's really different. But these are the writings of Brian Laundrie for what it's worth. And the page number here, for those of you who would like to read it, again, I tweeted out the PDF link, and this is on page 129 of the document. All right, let's continue to scroll through. Page 130. A lot of iPhone cases, a lot of various technology bags, more notes, and this one I believe is the note to Brian from Gabby. Let's see if we can zoom in here and just kind of give everybody a quick snapshot of what this looked like. I'll try my very best to read it. Brian, you know how much I love you. Stop crying. And yeah, and we have on WFLA.com, we have a transcription of this. But we're going to kind of move on for the sake of the live stream and the limited time that we have. I want to point out really quickly, because I want there to be time for me to take some questions here at the end, questions that people have. That's part of what we do here with interactive live streaming, is being able to take questions. And so due to, of course, the weather that's heading to Tampa Bay, here's another illustration. Doesn't say who it's by, either by Brian or by Gabby. You heard there Nicole and Tara say that it was, it was hard, and in their words, to read the letter that Gabby wrote to Brian, and in their words, that it was evidence of manipulation that was going on in their relationship, to see Gabby profess love for somebody that would ultimately be the person who confessed to murdering her. So a lot has been made about the letter, and I'm sure that the letter will be, examined quite extensively by people who take closer looks at the interpersonal relationships between spouses, and how that relates in the world of domestic violence, and in the world of spousal abuse. And in the words of Nicole and Tara, that there was manipulation that was going on there, that Gabby was on the receiving end of, and that makes the letter difficult for them to read. Scrolling through here, some of the there's a luggage tag. Here's a laptop with a lot of stickers on it. Another camera, a pair of shoes, a book, The Road by Cormac McCarthy. These are things that the FBI gathered in the execution of search warrants pertaining to the case. Again, the crossbow that was collected, more writing and more illustrations, a tablet with a keyboard. I don't know if that's a hotspot or a phone. Here are more arrows. Again, arrows being found by Gabby's remains. That, of course, jumped off the page significantly. Nothing will change the fact, by the way, that Gabby died of manual strangulation at the hands of Brian. But she never, of course, suffered any gunshot wounds. But the fact that the loaded revolver speedloader was discovered near her remains, arrows as well, it just puts together like a huge question mark, right? As to why they were there. Here are instructions for use for a firearm. Here's the back of a phone case, a GoPro, a book titled Lullaby. Okay, so here's more of the writings of Brian Laundrie, and I know because I've seen his handwriting enough to know that this is Brian. And I believe that this was the one that was profiled in the New York Post. Continuing onward, a journal or a notebook with Gabby's name on it. More of Brian's writing, more books, shoes. That might be, are those GoPro covers? Difficult to say. And again, we're speeding through this because we only have so much time on the live stream here today. iPhone cases, again, a hat, a Quicksilver drawstring backpack, it would appear to be. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm trying to like describe how difficult it can be to make out some of the writing here. Like, see here, some of this writing on the right, it's just unintelligible. You just, or illegible, I should say, rather. You just can't make it out. But it says our van, arrow, Ford Transit Connect, steps, clean it. And then skylight. And then sun. I don't know what that word is there. Caring. Again, lights. It's difficult to make out word for word what is being written here. Again, it's 366 pages of documents. This was something that also jumped off the page to me, pun not intended, you guys. This is a hollowed out book. And the book, I can't really see the title there, but this is a book that was hollowed out by it can't say by Brian because you don't know exactly who hollowed out the book, but the belief is that whoever, of course, hollowed out this book is trying to put something in this book to conceal it, whether it's a firearm or whatever this would hold. People who hollow out books will put things of obviously, high value in a hollowed out book, cash, credit cards, documents, whatever it may be. More of the, again, snapshots of evidence gathered by the FBI. The book Choke by Chuck Palahniuk, author of Fight Club, said there. A GoPro, more page. It's interesting that some of these books were opened and certain pages were snapshotted. Also interesting that there are certain redactions here. See the white boxes up top and at the bottom? Wonder if there's a reason for those redactions. And that could be connected to, I don't want to speculate. I have a thought as to what that could be, but I just don't want to speculate. This is another page. Good luck getting a transcription of that. I mean, no chance. I can't even definitively say if that's Brian or Gabby's handwriting. Look at that. There's just zero chance that we're ever going to be able to get a transcription of this page unless there's an expert out there with techniques that go far beyond my capabilities. All right, so now we're back to FBI documents pertaining to search warrants that were executed. Scrolling ahead here. Here's now a log, the evidence recovery log for everything that we were just reviewing. Here's an administrative worksheet going through some of the protocol, some of the efforts to execute the search warrants, description of items that were recovered. Here, now not pictured, or maybe it was pictured, but it was difficult to, of course, visualize. Point here, number 5, hair fiber and a fingernail recovered. Of course, that's going to be important for forensics. Continuing to scroll forward, search warrant affidavit applications, scrolling ahead here, and more notes taken by Special agents now exterior entry. I believe, yeah, this is now going to be a log of photographic evidence. And this is pertaining to the search warrant that was executed on Gabby's van. It even says the Florida tag number up there, and just a log. And this is interesting. This is just a small taste of just how meticulous the FBI and really any law enforcement agency has to be when it comes to how they process evidence. We see all the time about how important it is for prosecutors. If this did ever go to trial, it's not going to go to trial because Brian is deceased and the FBI has closed the investigation into the laundries. There's nothing there. The odds of this ever going to trial are less than 0.0001%. So, but if it ever did previously, back in time, if it had gone to trial, all of these logs are extremely important for prosecutors and defense attorneys to, to showcase exactly why their case is strong, or so on and so forth. So these logs are critical, and again, not really great stream content for us to go through line by line. But again, I tweeted out the link if anybody wants to look at this and put it under the microscope a little bit more. It says, let's kind of zoom in here if we can. And it says on point number 1, the subject vehicle owner, Gabrielle Venora Petito, and her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, left from New York State sometime in mid-June 2021 for a vacation to Utah, traveling to a variety of national parks along the way. While they were on their trip, they documented some of their events on a YouTube video, Van Life, Beginning Our Van Life Journey. So again, this is just a massive gathering of some of the evidence that was collected by the FBI, not just physical evidence, but digital evidence as well. But there are some particular pages. I want to get my page number notes here together. Stand by. Because there are some pages that in this document are of significant consequence. And let's go to where are we? Page 270. We're going to skip ahead here a little bit. There's more evidence logs, more of what was collected. And I want to get to, yes, this. The affidavit in support of an application for a search warrant. This was the probable cause that was introduced for the obtaining of the search warrant that was executed in Northport, Florida at the Laundrie's home, I believe in the 3rd week of September, when FBI agents went in and came out with boxes and bags of evidence. For those who were on live stream with me years ago and remember the day that the FBI was coming out with a lot of stuff, this is the search warrant that was executed, and this was the probable cause to receive clearance from a judge for that search warrant to be executed. And so the special agent here isn't identified by name, but the special agent puts together an application, an affidavit for the search warrant to be approved. And we're going to go through some of the points here that are of particular importance. So I'm going to kind of move in here a little bit. And what's interesting is I want to highlight the date of this doc. Where's the date of this document? Can I see it? I don't think that there is this. Yeah, application for a search warrant. Where's the date? I want to see the date. September 20th, 2021 was when it received a signature by the judge, Honorable Thomas G. Wilson, U.S. Magistrate Judge, is printed there. So what's interesting about this, and I want to point this out, because it was, man, I'm telling you, this scroll wheel is going to be the end of me. Okay. No, we lost it. Man. What page am I on right now? I got to see. I have to zoom out. If I'm too zoomed in, it's scrolling from. Here we go. Okay. Whew. Everybody with me? Okay. Sorry about all the flashing images on your device. It's just the scroll wheel not wanting to cooperate page by page. So if we scroll here, this is a lot of the introductory points. See, I don't know why I just did that. Let's go to point 4 here on this page. The target residence is the home of Brian Laundrie, person of interest in an investigation into the missing persons Gabrielle Venora Petito, and on or about September 14th, redacted, reported to law enforcement that he too was missing. Based on facts discussed below, there is probable cause that the target residence, the residence for the search warrant, contains evidence of federal crimes, namely murder in the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. The evidence to be seized is more particularly described in Attachment B. All right, so clearly, murder is very much on the radar for federal investigators at this stage. Again, third week of September back in 2021. Moving on to point number 6. Here's probable cause. And I want to get to point 7. During the execution of the search warrant for the target residence, investigators observed additional items that are themselves evidence of murder in the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Investigators found firearm ammunition, incriminating statements in a journal, and sketches in a sketchbook. Investigators have found approximately 115 rounds of .355 Magnum ammunition in 3 ammo boxes. 2 of the 3 boxes had been opened and were missing rounds. 1 box contained 38 rounds. And then it goes on and on with different pictures here showing the boxes that we showed you earlier of bullets. Here's 38 rounds of Magnum ammunition located in a cigar box. Here's one in a plastic tote. All right, so this is where, of course, this is going to start to piece everything together now. In an interview with Redacted, conducted on or about September 17, 2021, investigators learned that Redacted owns three handguns, 1 revolver, and 2 semi-automatic pistols. Redacted told investigators that all 3 handguns belonged to Redacted and that Redacted neither possessed nor used the guns. Redacted also told investigators that the revolver was missing from the target residence and said that the missing revolver was either a .357 or a .380. During the search of the target residence, investigators found 2 semi-automatic handguns. Agents did not find a revolver. This is what clued everybody in that a firearm was missing from the residence. This is the firearm, the revolver, that Brian would take with him when he somehow eluded authorities and made it to the Carlton Reserve and went into the wilderness where he found the spot where he would go and take his own life, a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The handguns and above-mentioned ammunition were found in the garage of the target residence. Continuing, there was no revolver in the cigar box or anywhere else in the target residence. Also, during a search of the target residence in a bedroom, according to blank, that was Laundrie's before his road trip with Petito, investigators found a journal. In it were various handwritten notes. I'm going to delicately scroll here so it doesn't jump pages. Come on. Ooh. Man. Brutal. One of them, the author wrote the following: "My real options are to run off entirely on my own, buy a piece of land, or kill myself. Under the mattress I'm on, there is a loaded .357 Magnum revolver. A pull of the trigger and all of my problems will be over." It's not specifically attributed to Brian Laundrie here, but investigators believe that these are the words of Brian Laundrie at this stage in the investigation. Now, this is where it gets interesting now. It says, the special agent writes this: above this entry was a written date, October 26th, 2018. Based on my training and experience and my specific knowledge about this investigation, I have probable cause to believe that this statement was written by Laundrie. Based on my knowledge about this investigation, to include my knowledge of deceptive actions Laundrie has taken in the past several weeks, I have reason to question the accuracy of the date listed above this journal entry. The special agent is accusing Brian of putting a fake date on that journal entry to throw off anyone who would find that journal. In the same bedroom in which the journal was found, investigators found a sketchbook. In it were the following sketches. And now we have some pictures of Brian Laundrie's sketches. It's kind of hard to make out what we're looking at here. We'll kind of zoom in a little bit because this is all new. So, who wants to help me make out what we're looking at here? Here we have two arms, but that is very clearly let it be. Here we have what appears to be a flower, another flower. I want to say it's difficult, but I want to say that this is, like is it wilderness? There's also a line going through the hands here. See this? It looks like a heart rate monitor to me. It's like, do you see the zigs and zags? Let me see if can I go in a little bit more? Does everybody see those zigzags? That to me going through, it's a horizontal line going through the hands, and it looks like exactly what you would see on a heart rate monitor in a hospital. I'll bring up the chat here. I want to see what you guys are saying. Yeah, a lot of people saying, Gabby's arms, let it be. Yeah, there's no doubt that, again, the number one identifying characteristic with Gabby is right here, this let it be. Can I scroll right? Will you let me scroll right? No. There it is, this let it be tattoo. I wish this was a little bit more of a high quality scan. There's also a milkshake. What appears to be, is that a dangling picture? Oh, what these are here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Should also be noted that there is no date that you see here, and we have no idea when, the person who's believed to have illustrated this Brian Laundrie, when this would have been illustrated. I think everyone's going to have their guess. Given this general feeling that you get when you look at this, is that like a CD disc there? It's hard to make out what this is up top, but let's move on. Investigators located Petito's remains on September 19th, 2021 in the Grand Teton National Forest in Wyoming. Near Petito's body, investigators found a revolver speedloader containing ammunition. Investigators at the scene of Petito's remains have not been able to open the speedloader and gain additional information about the revolver ammunition inside it. Let's go over this. What is a revolver speedloader? A revolver speedloader is an object that contains ammunition that, very simple, it's intended to give the user a very quick means to reload. Instead of having to individually load, each bullet, being able to load in all the bullets simultaneously, hence the name speedloader. So why the speedloader was found near Gabby's remains, why the arrows were found, well, hold on, before I jump ahead. See, why did we just jump a million pages? I have to zoom out. Otherwise, it's just going to jump way too fast. Okay. Here's a picture. We showed this earlier. Here's a picture of the speedloader with the ammunition. These are awful photos, but those are the two photos that were provided by the FBI. You see there the gloved hand of a special agent or an investigator at the scene in Wyoming near Gabby's remains, taking a picture of the speedloader. Point 16, and we're on page 312. Also near Petito's body, investigators found 2 arrows. Petito had a tattoo on her forearm that read, "Let it be." Due to the condition of Petito's remains, a cause and manner of death have not yet been determined. Autopsy results are pending. This is before the manual strangulation autopsy results came back, when everybody was just trying to find out exactly what had happened, when this story was all over every news outlet in the country, and we had no idea that revolver rounds were found near Gabby's remains, nor did we know that there were 2 arrows there as well. But the arrows are curious because we saw the crossbow with the scope earlier on in the document. Okay. So I've been going through this a lot in my head, trying to figure out exactly the purpose of the speed loader and why it was found there, the arrows, the purpose and why it was found there. I have some ideas, but it's not, I don't want to delve into speculation. So I'm going to instead allow our audience to chime in on those pieces of information and kind of go from there. I think that that's going to be it for our kind of, this is when, all right, so hold on. Really quickly, before we get to the Q&A, and we're about to take your questions here, folks, live, so get those ready. You can use hashtag HeyJB in the comment section on YouTube, or you can go to heyjb.live to submit a comment there. Human remains. This is the evidence recovery log for the day that the FBI was at the Carlton Reserve when they found Brian Laundrie's remains, and this is. This goes to show just, without being too graphic, we're talking about Brian Laundrie here, and we know that he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, but the amount of human remains samples that had to be collected by the FBI is illustrated here in this evidence recovery log. So all of these, I'm going to keep scrolling downward. Oh, well, it's scrolling so fast it doesn't even illustrate my point, but there it is, HR 60, HR 61, HR 83, HR, how many can I? It's more than 80 samples, 80 pieces of human remains evidence that was collected by the FBI that was later reconstructed, and that reconstruction led investigators to determine that Laundrie died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So, wow, I could have spent a whole lot longer on this. Got to get going here relatively soon before we're going to take some questions, but I got to chat with our team, to our weather team here. When do you guys plan on stream? Do you guys have a time? Okay. Do you have an ideal time? Okay. So we're going to do like a 10-minute Q&A, everybody, and what we'll do is we'll take as many questions as possible before we have to hop off the live stream. Because, again, we've got a lot of weather coming in to the Tampa Bay area, and the stream center has to be used. So, with that said, let's come back, and let's go over how we're going to do this. Hashtag JB Live on Facebook or YouTube Live, or you can go to www.heyjb.live and submit a VIP comment there if you're really trying to get my attention. This is what the form looks like over here, over my shoulder. When you go to the website, it'll look similar to this. And you just punch in your name or username, where you're watching from, and your comment, and then we can illustrate it live. For our international audience, go to world.heyjb.live, and you can submit a comment there, because I know that a lot of our website access is blocked beyond the United States and Canada. All right, let's start, and let's bring up the chat and focus exclusively on you guys now. Jessica on Facebook Live, hashtag HeyJB, is what you were showing available to be viewed online to the public? Yes, on Twitter, Jessica, I tweeted out a link to the PDF. If you want to go through it yourself, maybe you find something that I didn't find. I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning going through each one of the 366 pages and making sure I did my best to not miss anything. But maybe others, find particular pieces of the document that they find interesting and want to bring to our attention. Let's see. Karen Lee, hashtag HeyJB. Do you think the weapons such as the crossbow and arrows were referenced in the books Brian Laundrie read and were found by law enforcement? I don't want to speculate too much. I think it's very curious that Brian had access to multiple firearms, that he had access to this crossbow. The crossbow, I couldn't find specific reference to it in any of the FBI's search warrant affidavits. I found that to be interesting. A crossbow is a lethal weapon. And a lot is made of the firearms, but not a whole lot is made of the crossbow. I'm wondering if federal investigators, you know, the crossbow is kind of difficult to fit into the puzzle, to tell you the truth. We're still working that one out. Maui girl, hashtag HeyJB, aloha. Joining us from Maui, from Hawaii. Why did Gabby's family have to settle? Thank you for the coverage, of course. So why did Gabby's family settle? Because, well, in one word, money. And I don't mean money. I don't mean that Gabby's family is looking to, hit the Mega Millions jackpot with the lawsuit. What I meant by that is that lawsuits and their inevitable appeals are exorbitantly expensive. And so that's why a mediator was brought in. That's why so many civil lawsuits will result in mediation, because when you actually look at the X's and O's of it and you see how expensive it would be to go to trial and the odds that there's a payout, that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, that scenario being so difficult to obtain as far as getting a settlement that would pay back all the money that you spent to go to trial. Trials are expensive. Lawyers are expensive. And mediators are always going to try to save everyone time, money, energy, and that's what happened in this case. You heard there earlier from Tara and Nicole. They hate the word settle because they don't feel like it was a settlement in their opinion. I got some VIP comments coming into heyjb.live. Oh, hold on. Well, that scrolled into my cursor. So Emma says, I was able to zoom into one of Brian's writings and it makes reference to Hitler and the oppressed. I think the writings I was able to read were very intense. I think it shows the mental state at the time. I didn't see the word Hitler, the name Hitler. But some of those handwriting, those handwritten notes are just so difficult to read. I don't doubt you, Emma. I just I need to go through it again and maybe with a magnifying glass. But no, the VIP comments that were coming in, and they're coming in really fast. Everybody just kind of bear with me. Punchy Threads, do we know when he bought the guns? He obviously lied on his background check about the wide array of mental health issues. Look, we don't know the I think that there are some there's some documents in there pertaining to the the acquisition of the firearms. I could bring those back up. That's something I might have to circle back on. And as far as background check, look, it's not. We have seen it in other news stories, and without going off on a massive tangent, it is not as difficult as you would think to obtain a firearm in today's world. So, there are people in this country with mental health issues or a history of mental health issues that can get a firearm if they're determined enough to do so. It's an unfortunate fact, but we have seen it occur in the past, and it's the subject of much debate when it comes to laws in our country about how people obtain firearms in relation to mental health. Amy, I see your comment. Let me just, I don't even want to put it up on screen because it's Amy Sanders in our YouTube comment section. Gabby's not believed, according to the medical examiner, died of manual strangulation. The idea that a firearm or the crossbow was used is not rooted in reality. Relating to her death, there were no gunshot wounds, no arrow wounds, nothing that would point to her being the victim of that kind of violence. She was choked to death by her fiance Brian Laundrie, who confessed to the killing in a notebook that was found at the Carlton Reserve. Karen says, thank you, and thanks for going through the 366-page file from the FBI. I downloaded it. Yeah, I think I'm sure there are people out there that really will comb through it. Holy Hannah. Hashtag HJB sad to think that she was so decomposed. Authorities thought the revolver could have been used. What are your thoughts on the mattress? My thoughts on the mattress are very, very simple. At one point, the mattress was in the van. It was their means of getting rest on a cross-country road trip. And then at one point, the mattress was gone. What happened to the mattress and why the mattress was never recovered? I don't want to speculate, but there are theories abound as to why the mattress was in the van, and then by the time the FBI got their hands on it, the mattress was nowhere to be found and never recovered. Oh, that's interesting. Susan on Facebook Live says the pic with Gabby's arms, that is a rear view mirror. Can I go back to that now? Hold on, you guys. Maybe now with somebody describing, let's see. Oh my God, how am I going to find the page? Guys, wish me luck. What's the over under on how long it takes for me to find that one page? I would have won the bet. So Susan is saying, oh yeah, no, it is. Or it appears to be. It does look like a rearview mirror now from a certain perspective. I didn't see that originally. Susan, that's a very astute observation. I didn't see that when I looked at it. Some things are very obvious. Is that a dollar bill to the left of the rearview mirror? Yeah. I think that's a CD representing music, right? What this is. And I would hope that people agree with me that they clearly see the heartbeat reading through the center of the illustration. I see that clear as day. Yeah, and I agree with Maribel. There's a picture hanging here on it too. Yep. Yeah, that's a picture. That's a milkshake. These are flowers. That's a heart rate reading. That's the Let It Be tattoo. That looks like a CD. That could be a dollar bill or resembles a dollar bill. Oh, okay. You guys, I mean, man, a lot is being made about this photo, or this illustration rather, but I want to get back to, hold on. So go to Organic Gal on YouTube saying hashtag HJB, one arm is Brian's and one is Gabby's. Oh, see, I didn't look at it that way. I guess some people would see Gabby and her two arms coming together. Some people would see Brian and Gabby's two hands coming together. I guess it depends on your perspective and what you see. Someone says, look between the forearms. It looks like it could be lips. It's just so grainy. That one I'm having difficulty seeing. Trinity, I thought the same as well. I can't show the comment because it doesn't have hashtag AJB, but I thought that there might be, somebody said that there might be a joint on screen. That's possible too. Someone is saying that they see a candle. This is like a game of I Spy, because I don't Everyone's saying, I think I see this, but which item here is, referencing exactly what we're looking at? Like, I don't, there's this item here. There's also something there next to Gabby's hand. I don't think that that's going to be her thumb. Something else sticking out there. Ah, yeah, right. Are they earbuds? Somebody said earbuds in the comment section. Lisbeth says one hand bigger than the other, so it's probably not just Gabby's. Yeah. Gina wants to know who had the Let It Be tattoo. That was Gabby, of course. Folks, we got to get going. The Stream Center is of course going to be used for weather coverage coming up next here in your Tampa Bay area. Really appreciate everybody joining us. I would really love to hear from you. There are people who are now looking at certain illustrations and maybe there are some handwriting experts out there that can more accurately transcribe what Brian was writing or even what Gabby had written. Just the quality of these PDF scans that the FBI put out are, not ideal. So maybe there are folks out there that can do some tremendous work in the field of enhancement, image enhancement, and get us a better idea as to, what exactly we're reading and what exactly we are looking at. Really appreciate everybody joining us here on the live stream. I really hope, I hear from more of you because clearly we have such an active chat right now that I could only get to literally less than 1% of the comments that came in on this live stream. To everybody that was commenting along, I really appreciate it. It remains to be seen where the story goes from here, right? We really have no idea. Every time we think that there's going to be, that this is the, there were people asking on the last live stream that we did on Petito, which was, I think, after the civil lawsuit was settled out of court. People were asking, is this the last time we're going to talk about this story? And I really didn't know the answer to that question. I never know when we're going to, given that the, I would say it's up in the air as to whether or not we're going to see more FBI evidence get released. Was this them just releasing everything, or is there more? I will say this, through my reporting on this story for years, there's a piece of evidence that I know exists that hasn't been released to the public, and I went through the 366 pages last night looking for one particular piece of evidence that has not been released. And I know it exists, but because of the standards that are necessary for us to report on information pertaining to a case like this, I can't. There's more to this story, I think it's safe to say, but whether or not we'll ever actually obtain the evidence necessary to carry that section of the story forward, we just don't know. But I think that there is somewhat of a decent chance that more evidence is released in the future. But as a reminder, the FBI's investigation is closed. The civil lawsuit between the Petito Schmidt family and the Laundries is done, is over. And really, you heard there from Nicole and Tara that their goal, their objective, they are looking ahead at how they can use the Gabby Petito Foundation for good, how they can spark change in the world that would make Gabby proud, how they can use Gabby's name to help others avoid the same tragedy that, or similar tragedy that the Petito and Schmidt family found themselves in a few years back. Folks, really appreciate you joining us here in the Stream Center. As a reminder, we have all of our reports published to our website, and that website, of course, WFLA.com. You can click on the link in the description on this video and find more on this story. But again, I'm just going to move around the mouse. What exactly are we looking at here? Feel free to message me at WFLAJB on social if you see something that I might have missed. Really appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time here from the Stream Center.